Hello and welcome to A Better Life. In this video, we're going to talk about one factor that is paramount to being more positive and living a happier life. As I am prone to do, we're going to use a true historical example to illustrate the point. Why? Well, because it's not hypothetical. We can always talk about, hey, cheer up, feel better, but if it was that easy, if we could flip a switch, nobody'd ever be in a bad mood, right? Historical examples are as real as possible. So here we go. It's 1945. The biggest war in history, World War II, has been raging worldwide for over 5 years at this point. Our story picks up with a man who walks out of his hotel room. He heads to his company's manufacturing plant. He's eager to get the day started because at the end of the day, he gets to wrap up the trip, head home to see his wife and newborn baby. As he's walking down the street, he hears something above him in the sky, and then his world changes forever. In fact, the whole world's world changed forever in a very grim way. He was in the city of Hiroshima. The sound he heard above him was an airplane dropping the first atomic bomb ever used in warfare. He was thrown into a field, and when he woke up, the city was gone. The skies were dark, everything was silent, tens of thousands of people had already died. He found a nearby shelter and while there, found out that a train station outside of the town was still operable. The man has burns and considerable injuries, but the next day he tries to make it to the train station, only to find out that the bridge he needs doesn't exist anymore. So he fought his way through the water, swimming and pushing aside dead bodies in the process to get on this train. When he gets to his home city, the first thing he did was go to the hospital. Because of his burns and injuries, his doctor didn't even recognize him. He was treated, bandaged, and sent home because the hospital was receiving so many injured people. They needed to make room for them. He arrived at his house, and his wife also didn't recognize him. But at least he was home and he was safe. 2 days later, that city was destroyed by the only other atomic bomb ever used. This man was in both cities that were destroyed by atomic bombs, miraculously survived both, but the radiation is going to start setting in. People that were exposed to just one explosion began to die within a week of the blast. The pace of death picked up quickly for the weeks that followed. Yet this man, who suffered a double dose, lived for 6 more decades. 60 more years the man lived. And that brings us to our overall point. Is he a victim or is he lucky to be alive? Well, obviously both are true. But how does he view his own circumstances and the traumatic events of his past as he moves forward? He's going to live 60 more years with those memories. He has to decide, and sometimes it's not as easy as just making a decision. It's kind of hardwired into us, but is he going to see the bright side of, man, am I lucky to be alive? Or is he going to be bitter about all of the loss and devastation and all the injustice he may perceive to have happened? Viewpoint matters. It always has and it always will. The trauma that he suffered was as real and awful as it can get. But he didn't live the rest of his life wrapped up in all the bad things that happened to him. He was able to see how fortunate he was in a circumstance where nearly everyone around him had far worse luck. Trauma is real. It cannot be ignored. But you must look for the silver linings. You must look for the gratitude in the situation. What is true in a good sense, despite what's true in a bad sense. Gratitude is a phenomenal medicine, and it's the foundation for positivity in your life. So please remember the next time you are in a stressful situation, what is the best way I can look at this? What value can I gain from this? How is this helping me? What gratitude is there to be enjoyed? When you are able to always find that silver lining and control your viewpoint, you're in a much better place in life. Up next, I want you to watch this video because it will tell you the most important trait you must have in order to be successful. It also uses a true historical example and tells the story of a man who should be famous, but he lived and died anonymously, and his story is Hollywood worthy, but you wouldn't believe it if they made the movie.